Authoritarianism, it's a long, cold word, heavy on the tongue, heavier in history. But before it ever ruled over people, it started, as most things do, with language. The word authoritarianism was first used in English around the 1860s, borrowed from the French autoritaire, which itself comes from the Latin auctoritas, meaning authority, command, or influence. Back then, it was mostly academic, a way of describing a philosophy that favored order, obedience, and strong central control. It wasn't always sinister. In fact, it was often packaged as protection, a guardian of stability against chaos. The thinking went, too much freedom leads to disorder, and disorder demands correction. But here's the catch. Authoritarianism doesn't march in wearing jackboots and waving flags. It tiptoes in behind closed doors and smiling podiums. It doesn't always begin with evil. Sometimes it begins with efficiency. A government says, we just need a little more control, just for now. A leader says, the press is lying, trust only me. A staffer says, it's not my job to question, I'm just here to help. And just like that, a slow erosion begins, not with a bang, but a shrug. History is full of clever, capable people who worked for authoritarian leaders and did nothing. People like Albert Speer, Stalin's Molotov, Nixon's aides, or lawyers who helped justify torture during wartime. Some of them knew exactly what they were doing, others convinced themselves they were serving a greater good. But here's the truth. Authoritarianism doesn't need monsters, it needs managers, it needs silence. It needs people who look the other way because shouting would cost them their job, their comfort, or their position in the room. It thrives, not in darkness, but in the shadows of polite society, where conscience gets traded for access and moral clarity is parked by the vending machine. So the next time you hear someone say, just trust the strong leader, or now's not the time for debate, pause. Because authoritarianism isn't just a word from the past. It's a door that's always slightly ajar. If you found this journey into the language of power fascinating, subscribe to Vintage Verbiage. We unpack the stories behind the words that shaped our world, and the warnings they still whisper. Words matter. Let's make sure we understand them before they understand us.